Hello everybody, Larissa here and Christy kind of in the background for a second. We're just gonna go through and do a Guess Who trivia game, and Christy actually set this all up for us yesterday, so it works well. Okay, so our first person to guess, this man here. There we go. I will give you hints. I gotta move the paper behind it. It's probably gonna show words through. Happy birthday to this man, May 14th, 1936. Who am I? I was an American singer, songwriter, and actor. I was born in East Harlem in New York City. I was an accomplished singer with many successful hits by the time I was 22 years old. In 1968, I became politically active and considered entering politics at age 32. Running for office requires the truth. So my mother told me that I was actually her grandchild and that my older sister was my biological mother. The news was devastating and I plunged into depression. My biological mother refused to reveal the identity of my father and kept that secret to her death. My first $1 million single was Splish Splash, followed by My Dream Lover, Mac the Knife, and Beyond the Sea. During the film, come September, I met my wife, an upcoming actress, Sandra Dee. We got married and had one son. I departed this world aged 37. This man's initials are BD. BD. Any guesses for who this man might be? I'm just gonna go through it if you guys are watching later. Answer is Bobby Darin. Bobby Darin. So if you guessed Bobby Darin, you would be correct. Congratulations. All right. Here's our next birthday Guess Who. Oops. I should probably cover the name. I'm gonna need another sticky. Oh. I got it. Doesn't matter. I'll finish the card. All right. Sorry, I just had to get another sticky. This person has a longer name. Okay. This is our next picture. Some of you guys might just see this picture and know who he is, but I'll still go through his hints. Happy birthday. His birthday is June 17th, 1943. I am an American singer, songwriter, and producer. I have been singing for 50 years. I began my career as a jingle writer until one day I was asked by the director of CBS to arrange some songs for a new musical called The Drunkard. Instead, I wrote an entire original score. I went on to produce the Bette Midler album, The Divine Miss M. My first album was a non-event, but my second made me world famous with the hit Mandy. I wrote a string of successful songs like I Can't Smile Without You, Copacabana, and I Write the Songs. This man's initials are BM. What initials to have? BM. I'll give you another quick gander. Okay, the answer to this mystery man is Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow. So if you guessed Barry Manilow, ladies and gents, you would be right. I'm stealing Christy's words. Yeah. Oops. Let's go through our pile here. All right. Just prepping our next one. Sorry about all the paper. Okay, here's our next person. She's She's a bit of a newer actress, I guess. More. I think she is married to a country singer. So happy birthday to this woman. Her birthday is May 22nd, 1924. Oh, I didn't know she was that old. I was a French-American singer, lyricist, and diplomat. Oh, never mind. She was not, because this is the wrong one. This is my back page. Her birthday is actually the 20th of June, 1967. That makes way more sense. Sorry about that. She's an Australian actress. Her first breakthrough movie was Dead Calm, and a miniseries called Bangkok Hilton. In 1990, I went to the U.S. to work on The Days of Thunder, where I met my first husband. We adopted 2 children, but we ended up divorcing after 10 years. I won many awards for my performances in films like To Die For, Grace of Monaco, and others, Moulin Rouge, and many others. My second husband is a famous country singer. We have 2 daughters. Initials, NK. Her famous country singer second husband, his name is Keith Urban. That might give you another hint. If you guys guessed Nicole Kidman, you would be right. This is Nicole Kidman. Da-da-da. There we go. Just grabbing our second, or third, or fourth, I don't know. Here we go. All right, here's our next guess. It's a handsome man. Looks like he's got some humor to him. I don't recognize him, but hopefully you do. Happy birthday on the 2nd of June of 1904 to this man. I was born in Romania, and I began my career as a competitive swimmer. At the age of 19, my father gave me permission to travel to the U.S. by signing consent on my passport. I joined the Olympic U.S. team and won gold in 1920 and 1924 Olympics. In 1932, I signed a contract with MGM to play a role of Tarzan in Tarzan and the Ape Man. I made a total of 12 Tarzan movies. I married 5 times, and had 3 children. Initials, JW. Initials, JW. He sounds like he's had quite a life, though. Let's see, give you a second to guess. And if you haven't guessed it already, the answer is Johnny Weissmuller. Unless I'm saying that wrong. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure I am. The back, or the last name. I'm sorry. So, next famous person is a lady. You might get her right off the bat just by her picture. She's very famous. Here we go. That's our famous lady. We're gonna try and guess, who is she? Happy birthday, June 1st, 1926. I was an American actress and singer, famous for playing comedic blonde bombshells in films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire. I was the first centerfold of Playboy magazine. I married 3 times. My second husband was a baseball player, widely known for helping to win 9 World Series titles for the Yankees. My third and final husband was Arthur Miller, a playwright and an essayist. Some of my other movies include The 7-Year Itch and Some Like It Hot. I sang Happy Birthday for President John F. Kennedy on his 45th birthday. Initials, MM. And if you haven't guessed it already, it's Marilyn Monroe. She's a pretty dead giveaway usually when you see her picture. She's really famous. All right. Here's our next contestant. Here's a picture of him. I'm sorry about the background. Hopefully you can see him okay. Give you a look. Okay. This man had his birthday June 1st, 1934. He is an American singer, composer, and actor. He was popular in the 1950s and 60s and competed with Elvis Presley on the Billboard charts. He also had his own TV show that ran for 115 episodes. His first hit film was Bernadine in 1956. Even more popular was April Love the following year. Some of the other movies he made were Journey to the Center of the Earth, All Hands on Deck, and Goodbye Charlie with Debbie Reynolds and Tony Curtis. Some of his hit songs include Two Hearts, Ain't That a Shame, I'll Be Home, Love Letters in the Sand, and Speedy Gonzales. I was married for 67 years and had 4 daughters, one of whom is a well-known singer. In 1977, she had a hit with You Light Up My Life. This man's initials are PB. Who am I? Who do you think this is? If you haven't guessed it yet, you would be correct by saying Pat Boone. Or it's Boone. Oh, Pat Boone.
Yeah.
Sorry about my terrible reading skills.
Yeah, they're old. We wouldn't know.
No. All right, our next person here. Here's his face. Give you a couple minutes to look at him. I'm like super close here to the camera. I apologize for my face and yours. All right, there we go. Happy birthday, June 3rd, 1925. My career as an actor began when I arrived in Hollywood aged 23. After several dozen minor films, I hit the big time with Trapeze with Burt Lancaster and Gina Lollobrigida. It's a big name. It was followed by The Midnight Story, Sweet Smell of Success, The Vikings, The Boston Strangler, and Houdini. My film, Some Like It Hot, was voted in a survey as the funniest American film ever made. I dated Marilyn Monroe well before she was famous. I married 6 times and had 6 children. One of my daughters is a very well-known actress. Initials, TC. Give you another second to kind of guess who he might be. Sorry about the picture. You can see words behind it. All right. If you guessed Tony Curtis, you would be correct.
Oh. So his daughter must be, what is her name? Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis, that's true. I never even made that connection. If you guys have heard of Jamie Lee Curtis, she plays in a Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan. That's where I know her from.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah. This woman's also very famous, so you might get her just by looking at her picture. Here's our next person for her happy birthday. Let's guess who she might be. Happy birthday on June 10th, 1992. No, 1922. Excuse me. I was an American actress, singer, and dancer. I began my career in vaudeville with my parents and sisters. I was 13 years old when MGM offered me a contract. I went to school at Metro with Ava Gardner, Lana Turner, and Elizabeth Taylor. In 1938, Metro was looking for Dorothy for the movie Wizard of Oz. They wanted Shirley Temple, but 20th Century Fox declined. They offered Deanna Durbin, but she was unavailable, so I was cast. The movies I made include For Me and My Gal and Meet Me in St. Louis. I married 5 times and had 3 children. One of my daughters is a well-known star. Her initials are JG. Who is she? All right, I think saying The Wizard of Oz, if anything else, really gave it away. You're correct if you guessed Judy Garland. Judy Garland. All right. I don't know this one, but you guys might. Alrighty. Who is our next mystery woman? Happy birthday on the 19th of June, 1932. I was an Italian film and television actress. I began my career in Hollywood working with Vittorio De Sica and in 1950. I was spotted by an MGM producer and given the lead role in the film Teresa, for which I went on to win a Golden Globe Award. Some of my other films include The Story of Three Loves, The Silver Chalice, The Angry Silence, and Sodom and Gomorrah. I lost the role in a film called The Rose Tattoo to my twin sister, Marissa Pavin. I was once engaged to Kirk Douglas and had a brief romantic relationship with James Dean. I married twice, once to Vic Damone. I had 2 children. Initials are P.A. P.A. Who might she be? If you guessed that it was Pierre, I don't know how to say that name. Angeli? It's P-I-E-R.
Probably Pierre. Oh, Pierre.
Pierre? Oh, Pierre Angeli. Or Angeli. That would be who this woman is. She has a difficult name, but she is beautiful. All right. Getting our next contestant. Here we go. Happy birthday to this man here. Does anybody recognize this face? I'll go on. Happy birthday, June 20th, 1909. I was an Australian-born American actor during the golden age of Hollywood. Considered the natural successor of Douglas Fairbanks, I achieved worldwide fame for my romantic swashbuckler roles in Hollywood films. My first hit film was in Captain Blood opposite 19-year-old Olivia de Havilland. The film was a magnificent success in the beginning of a 6-year on-screen partnership with Olivia de Havilland that would encompass 8 films. Some other films I featured in includes The Charge of the Light Brigade, Robin Hood, The Prince and the Pauper, and The Private Lives of Elizabeth and Essex, among others. His initials are E.F. E.F. And if you guessed it is Errol Flynn, you would be correct. All right, here's our next Guess Who. This beautiful lady right here. Happy birthday, the 26th of May, 1920. I was an American singer born in North Dakota to a Swedish father and a Norwegian mother. I joined the Benny Goodman Band in 1941. The following year, I had my first 2 hits with Why Don't You Do Right and Somebody Else Is Taking My Place. I sang with Goodman's orchestra in 2 films, Stage Door Canteen and The Powers Girl. My song, Manana, was the #1 selling record of 1948. In 1957, I recorded Fever and added some lyrics of my own to the song. I was married 4 times and had 1 daughter. Initials P.L. P.L. Who could she be? If you guessed Peggy Lee, you would be correct. man was also very famous. Here's his picture. Give it a little look. All right. Happy birthday, 3rd of May, 1903. You really can't see his face. Let's try him. That's a bit better. I was a singer, comedian, and actor. In 1925, I decided to seek fame in California. I joined the Paul Whitman organization and became part of the Rhythm Boys. We had our first #1 hit, Old Man River. My solo career began in 1931, and my best-selling songs include I Found a $1 Million Baby in a 5 and 10 store, Out of Nowhere, and At Your Command. In 1941, I recorded my biggest hit song, White Christmas. Among the movies I starred in are The Road to Rio, Going My Way, The Bells of St. Mary, White Christmas, and The Country Girl. I married twice and had 7 children. My initials are BC. BC. If you guessed Bing Crosby, you would be correct. There he is. All right. Our next contestant, a handsome fella in a very serious position. Give a little look. And see if I can there we go. Happy birthday on May 6, 1915. I was an actor, director, producer, famous for my avant-garde work in theater, film, and radio. I had a turbulent childhood. I lost my mother when I was 9 years old and went to live with my father, who was an alcoholic. My first stage experience was in 1931 when visiting Ireland, where I gave an audition claiming I was a Broadway star. I also wrote and acted in radio plays. My adaptation of the novel by H.G. Wells, The War of the Worlds, caused widespread panic in the streets of Los Angeles when listeners thought that the Earth was being invaded by extraterrestrials. It brought me instant fame and success. My feature film, Citizen Kane, in 1941, it's consistently ranked among the greatest films ever made. I married 3 times, once with Rita Hayworth. My initials are OW. Alrighty. And if you guessed Orson Welles, you would be very correct. Alright. Have our next guest here. Is this man. Give you a little look. All right. Try and keep the light off of it so you can see the picture better. All right, happy birthday, the 7th of May, 1901. I was an American actor born in Montana to British parents. I began my career in silent films and worked with Tom Mix in The Lucky Horseshoe. When sound pictures were introduced, I found myself working in small roles, and I was advised to change my name to Gary. I worked for a while as a stunt writer, but soon I started landing them. My first sound picture was The Virginian in 1929, and 2 years later I starred in A Farewell to Arms. Some of my older memorable films include For Whom the Bell Tolls, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, and High Noon. Ernest Hemingway and Jimmy Stewart were good friends of mine. I married a New York socialite and we had 1 daughter. My initials are GC. Who am I? Who am I? If you guessed Gary Cooper, you would be correct. feel free later on, if you're watching this, to comment below after the video's been posted and just maybe write down how many you got correct during this and make it kind of a game. See who has the most. All right, here's our next contestant. This lady here. Happy birthday, May 1st, 1946. I don't think this really helps much. No. I am British, but I was born in India. I am an actress, a former model, TV presenter, and comedian. In my film and TV career, I specialized in playing upper-class characters. My first major role was in Purdy in The New Avengers, a revival of the secret agent series, The Avengers. In 1979, I appeared in Sapphire and Steel, a series which earned a cult following. Some of my other film appearances include Trial of the Pink Panther, James and the Giant Peach, and The Wolf of Wall Street. In 1992, I met Jennifer Saunders and we began a BBC comedy TV series where I portrayed a selfish and frequently drunk fashion director, Patsy Stone, in Absolutely Fabulous. I'm married twice and I have one son and 2 grandchildren. My initials are JL. Who am I? Who is this woman? Let's see. If you guessed Joanna Lumley, you would be correct. Joanna Lumley. All right. We only have 2 left here. If you've got a perfect score so far, great job. All right. Here's our next contestant here. This lovely man. We say happy birthday to him on May 10th, 1999. I was considered the most influential dancer in the history of film. I was also a choreographer and TV presenter. I started my career as a child with my sister Adele performing a brother and sister act. We moved to New York, and by the 1920s, my sister and I had gained popular acclaim on both sides of the Atlantic. Adele and I parted professionally in 1932 when she got married. I went to Hollywood for a screen test, and that was very disappointing. The report said, can't act, can't sing, slightly bald, can dance a little. Still, I seemed to have charmed the right people, and I was granted a contract with RKO Radio Pictures. I was paired with Ginger Rogers, and we made 9 films together, including Top Hat, Swing Time, Follow the Fleet, and Shall We Dance. I married twice and had 2 children. My initials are F.A. Who am I? Any ideas? If you guessed Fred Astaire, you would be right. All right, our last contestant here that we're guessing for is a lady. Alrighty. Here she is. She's got nice hair. All right. Happy birthday, May 28th, 1931. I am a retired American actress of film, stage, and TV. I began performing on Broadway in 1954. Director Isla Kazan spotted me on stage and offered me the lead role in the adaptation of Tennessee Williams' play Baby Doll. That film rewarded me with a BAFTA and an Oscar, as well as a Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Newcomer. I starred in several critically acclaimed westerns, including How the West Was Won, The Big Country, and Cheyenne Autumn. I portrayed Jean Harlow in the movie Harlow and had a minor role in the movie Giant with James Dean, Rock Hudson, and Elizabeth Taylor. I married 3 times and had 2 children. In 1983, my autobiography Baby Doll was published. I reside in New York. Initials are CB. CB. Who is this woman? If you guys guessed Carol Baker, you would be correct. If you guys got every single one of those right, congratulations. I know some of them were easier than others, but they still, I think, gave you a challenge. So I think we're gonna cut this one kind of short since nobody's here right now, and that's okay. I'm glad you guys are out and busy and doing things. If you decide to watch this later, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday morning with some exercises and more activities. Take care. Bye.